As Ukraine withdraws from the Ottawa Convention banning the use of anti-personnel landmines, Germany's foreign minister arrives in Kiev to discuss joint arms manufacturing. Meanwhile, Russia has criticized the US for slow progress in peace negotiations with Ukraine. To talk about it and more, we're joined by Bohdan, Nahaylo, editor-in-chief of the Kiev Post. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
So, German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul came to Kiev on Monday and, quote, he said, "We will continue to stand firmly by Ukraine's side so that it can continue to defend itself successfully with modern air defense and other weapons with humanitarian and economic aid." Now, we know that Ukraine is struggling almost every night to cope with swarms of drones and missiles attacking Ukrainian cities. Now, the question is, can Germany provide enough air defense to change the current situation?
Well, I don't think anybody's relying just on Germany. We're looking to all of Ukraine's partners. We're looking at the US and hoping that Trump will eventually see the error of his ways and will be persuaded by his, I hope, still partners to do the right thing. So, but Germany has really begun to assume a leading role along with France, Britain, Poland, others, and the concessions, if you want, the promise of aid was very substantial. I mean, 2 billion plus just for air defenses, and about, as I recall, about 9 billion altogether for defense in the current year. That's a lot of money from Germany that was rather reluctant under the previous chancellor to wade in and to play its role. And under the new chancellor, Germany is assuming a very prominent role, which is very heartening, I think, not only for Ukraine, it should be for Europe as a whole.
But to be precise here, Germany wants to produce these weapons in Ukraine, right? So that's the whole point of today's trip by Germany's former foreign minister to Kiev. Now, I'm wondering what's the reaction from the Kremlin?
Well, what do we expect from the Kremlin? They're going to say anything from "this is terrible," "this is going to disrupt any potential for any peace negotiations." There aren't any. I mean, the only thing that we're really getting out of so-called peace negotiations, given the hardline, intransigent position, all or nothing from Russia, is the POW swaps, which is substantial because many hundreds of soldiers and civilians who have been kept in captivity by the Russians for years, and you've seen the condition that they've emerged in. They remind us of Auschwitz and the Nazis. This is terrible. The human conditions that in which they've been kept in. So at least that's something. But what they're saying is, oh, this is terrible. And I'm sure they will also play, as they always do, to those who are prepared to listen. Oh, Germans are Nazis, they haven't learned anything. They are just also expansionists remaking themselves. It's a cheap shot that we can expect from them at any time. But of course, they're not happy. They're not happy at all, because I think they felt that under the previous chancellor, and especially under Merkel, they had Germany under control, more or less placated, just as they thought until recently that Trump was in their corner, but now he seems to be having second thoughts. So I would think that for Russia, it's a very difficult time. Their economy is being hard hit. They've not made the substantial progress on the front lines that they expected, even though they are putting the pressure up, and they're attempts to pulverize the Ukrainian situation from the air and through terror to reduce the will to fight and encourage sentiments to make peace at any cost, that has also failed.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned a Russian cheap shot. Well, Moscow is accusing the US of the slow progress of peace talks over Ukraine. Now, what's your take on that? And the question is whether it will resonate in Washington and whether Donald Trump is willing to listen to such comments from the Kremlin.
Donald Trump is obviously annoyed. He wanted, to fix the squabbling children, as he calls it, Russia and Ukraine, in 24 hours, then in 2 weeks, and then another 2 weeks. He's obviously frustrated. He's under pressure, not only from Europe and Canada and his allies, but internally, domestically, he's being made to look a fool. Others are accusing him of being a traitor, of selling out to the Russians. And I think that after this wave of intensified bombings that we've seen in Ukraine in the last 2 or 3 weeks, this has also forced his hand to reconsider his position and say, well, okay, Volodya Putin is my friend, but he's doing the wrong thing, as opposed to simply blaming Zelensky for not playing along with him, with Trump. So we're kind of at, I would say, at a crossroads right now. There is pressure, as we know, in the Senate, in the Congress, to pass a bill strengthening sanctions. It seems that Trump has gone some way.
But do you think it will really happen after Donald Trump has reached this trade agreement with China not that long ago?
He's reached a trade agreement with China. He's forced Canada to backtrack. He plays it always. Trump uses his trumpet. He threatens, he blackmails, but he also stands back. And as I've just said, he's under pressure from realities on the ground, Russian behavior, but internal pressure on him is also mounting, not only on Ukraine. I mean, that's not the preeminent issue for American society, but it's one of the key issues where people who voted for him especially are saying, hey, we didn't vote for this kind of behavior and this stance. So I think he's being forced to reconsider and to backtrack. And he's not really getting anything in return from Putin. Putin is not giving him any concessions, any kudos, anything, that will make him say, oh, he's reasonable. I mean, he's meeting me halfway. There's been nothing on the Russian side to suggest that they are any more conciliatory than the belligerent self that they've been all along.
Mm-hmm. Now, lastly, I'd like you to listen to the quote from Juraj Blanar, that's Slovakia's foreign minister, who stated yesterday, "Let us return to respect for international law and seek ways to communicate with the Russian Federation and perhaps even forgive everything that has happened." So now Slovakia wants to forgive Putin for attacking Ukraine. Now, how would you comment on that?
Well, it's not Slovakia, it's the leadership, the present leadership, just as in Hungary, Orban's leadership, as opposed to the entire Hungarian people. So, they want something in return. They want the oil, the gas, particularly, they want to seem important. But they're a nuisance factor. Slovakia is a nuisance factor in the EU, as Hungary is. But, they are very much a tiny tail that unfortunately is interfering with the dog, the EU, the free world, if you want, that is beginning to bark and maybe even might start biting.
Bohdan Nahaylo, editor-in-chief of Kiev Post, was our guest this evening. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, as always.